Imagine a star-packed universe. Suddenly, a spaceship comes into frame. Cue the music. Right, let's stop this nonsense. To most of you, this is an empty container, but to me, it's a Class 1 Starship fighter, fresh off the product line. Don't believe me? We best start scratching that build. So this little lid bit I think needs to come off. Now this is half a day's work. I've no plans on what the Starship is going to look like. I'm, without sounding pretentious, just going to go where the plastic greeblies take me. And that lid told me that it wanted to be stuck on somewhere else. And to make it get stuck on somewhere else, I'm going to need to sand this container down. So that little lid bit, I think I'm going to stick there, and I'm also going to put this jet engine, which is a deodorant lid cap, I'm going to stick it onto the hole at the back, so that covers that bit. And that's how it looks, just like that. The flappy lid bit is going to get stuck down there, and that's the trouble with some of my one-day builds, is that I stick things down and then regret it later on, and you'll see that process later on in the build, but for now it's stuck there. I've raised lettering, and this video isn't sponsored by this company. I'm just showing you how I tackle and overcome little problems like this. And followers of the channel will know I'm pretending to take measurements when in reality I'm just trying to look professional. I'll cut a few strips of plasticard, 2mm I believe, which will cover the letters just nicely. I struggled with this until I realised that there is a plastic film on the back of the plasticard. I snapped down the plasticard to the length that I think I need and just glue it onto the container. Problem number 1, overcome. So the leftover bit of plasticard is going to get glued onto the front. No reason, I just thought it would look cool just to have a raised little bit at the front of the spaceship. And for all those wondering what I'm be borrowing from the other half this week, rest assured I'm giving her a week off, and all greeblies will be proper greeblies and not something I've taken from the kitchen. That was almost true until I found these clear acrylic rods. These are apparently for making cakes, which I thought would be cool to add to my build. You know, she won't miss a few rods. You know, there's enough in the pack, right? I know they're clear, but I assure you I'm adding these to the build. I made one of the rods slightly longer so it would have a little pokey out bit, just, I don't know, just to give it that sort of sci-fi look. Another bit of off-cut plasticard to be used as a panel, I guess. And I'm going to stick that bad boy right in the centre of the container. Let me just have a rummage round in my greebly box, and hello little greebly bits. So all these fantastic little greeblies were sent to me by one of my subscribers, Cynical Mag, thank you very much. And so what I'm going to do is just pick out little bits and pieces, see how they fit, and just glue them onto my spaceship. And that's how I do my kit bashing, just find little bits and just to see if they kind of look cool on the actual model that you're making. And this is kind of cool. I just don't know what to do with it, but I'll work that one out. I go through lots of different bags just to find little bits that some work and some don't. Oh, but these two do. These are going to be jet engines for the back of the container. And now missiles. I'm going to just find two that I like and use it. Well, what are these? I have no idea what these are, but these look cool for the side of the ship. A little long, but I'll trim them down. And while I rummage in my bags, I'll do some shout outs to all my awesome subscribers who leave comments on my previous builds. Without you, I'd be talking to myself. which I do anyway on videos you guys don't watch. But I guess the ones you do, I thank you for watching. And also just leave, like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTubery stuff that, I don't really like talking about. And by that I mean you watch other channels where they're always going on about their Patreon page or YouTube memberships, just asking for money. All I want is for you guys to watch, have a good time, and maybe view some of the adverts that are on my videos because they pay me enough to keep me knee deep in plastic greeblies. A bit like right now, I'm, table deep in plastic bits and bobs that I'm just putting to one side to stick onto my build. So let's just do that. And I'm going to start with this bit, which was those two little triangle bits. I'm going to glue them together because that is going to be the bridge of my spaceship. While that decides if it wants to be stuck together, I'm going to stick these jet engines to the back of my container. Just need to sand it down a little bit so it's got some grip when I apply the super glue. And without much rhyme or reason or thinking anything through, look at this. This is how I love making these sort of things, because it was as if I'd planned this all along, which I assure you I hadn't, because I do not plan any of my builds. It's just one happy accident after another happy accident. There's the jet engines. As if I don't have enough plastic on this bench already, I'm going through another lot of plastic greeblies because I want something for my engine, or inside that lid that I stuck on the back for the jet engine. So I'm going to use some, oh hello, where's it gone? Oh, there we go. I'm going to use some cogs or something like that just to make it look like an engine part. So let's glue part A, which is the green bit, to part B, which is the white bit, to part C, which is the yellow bit. And that will become my little engine for the back of my jet bobby thing. So, taking exact measurements by using my thumb, I'm just going to nibble down this plastic rod thing that looks really cool and add that to the side of the spaceship. I have no idea what it was supposed to be, but hey, it looks pretty cool on the side there. To cleverly disguise that it has nowhere to go, I'm just going to hide one of the ends with half a barrel that I just glue into place. And now for the cockpit, which is kind of a problem because remember the flappy bit that I stuck down without a care in the world earlier in the build? It's causing me a little bit of problem, but I kind of overcome that and thought no, it'll work, and just stick it down so it's slightly raised. And there's the start of the, there's the flyby. This is another little greebly. I'm guessing it came from some sort of Nerf gun or something, the insides. There is going to be some sort of, I don't know, another viewing port or something at the very front. It also hides any writing that may be at the front of that container. And then for the sides, I'm just going to, I thought I was going to put some weapons at an angle, but that didn't work. So what I did was I just stuck them to the very edge. Look at that, me using my finger to wipe away super glue. Very manly, I know. So like I said, I'm just going to stick these guns either side of the spaceship. Some random greebly that I have no idea what it's from is going to get center stage onto that little bit there. Golly gosh, we're almost 9 minutes and 18 seconds into this build without a code word. You best put this code word in your comments so I know you're a watcher and not just a peeper. And the code word is Space Monkeys. Please also like and subscribe to the channel. So I'm just over 2 hours into this build. Now that's accounting for lunch, procrastination and watching Diagnosis Murder on TV throughout this build. To you it's like mere minutes. Well, it is actually, it's 9 minutes and 54 seconds, but you know, it does take a while sometimes because there's things getting in your way, like life and daytime TV. So anyway, I've just put the missiles, or half the missiles, on, and using some more of that clear rod, I'm just going to connect those missiles together so it looks like some sort of, I don't know, arc reactor sort of rod or something. I don't know, it's just a spaceship. Well, it's bits of plastic that make it look like a spaceship. I'm going to use some tiny tank wheels just to, if I can pick it up off the table, there we go, and just put one either side of that other doodah that is in the middle, just to give that a little bit more sort of life and texture. You can never go too much wrong with using tank wheels for little portholes, and there's one right there that I'm just gluing into place. Just adding a couple of more greeblies to the front of the spaceship, just to try and finish off that piping that I put down. This is an old kit I'm dismantling. I think my members saw this video before I deleted it. I'm going to use some engines off this to add to my starship. Oh, I might use that bit as well. Well, I might as well. It'd be rude not to. So this bit will be stuck to the bottom of my starship, simply because it will help raise it off the ground and look like landing gear or something like that. And then the engines, once I remember to sand everything down, will get stuck either side and sort of complete the look of my Starfighter. It's a tense moment now, ladies and gentlemen, just to make sure that this thing actually fits, and well, I'm kind of surprised myself here because I hadn't planned on using that model kit, but it seems to work. This is why we never throw anything away. Remember those little bits that I chopped off for the sides? I'm going to stick them onto the build, and that's how greeblies work, really. So all the time I've been building this starship up, I've been wondering what sort of paint job I wanted to do, and I'm going to do something totally out of the norm for this one. I'm going to keep it as clean and as crisp as possible, which means minimum colours and no weathering or no panel liner or nothing like that. I'm just going to do a very simple paint job, a lot like me. Now, I know you won't see this, but I see it all the time and will know it's there. So what I'm going to do to cover these little cuts that I've made in for the flappy bit at the start of the build, I'm just going to add some greeblies, and these are sort of like, well, I don't know where they're from. I think they're from Warhammer, but they just fit perfectly, so they cover up all my sins, and that is virtually all that I'm going to stick onto this starship. It's paint time now, and I'll take it outside and with a rattle can spray it grey. Imagine a star-packed universe. A spaceship suddenly comes into view. Cue the music. Dum dum ba dum ba dum ba doo ba dum ba doo. You see, I told you guys that this container would be a starship, and there's my starship. Yeah, it needs colour, alright, I admit it. It looks odd at the moment, but that's what it looks like. And like I said, I'm going to take it outside now and spray it grey. Pew! And there is my starship, all primed up and ready for painting. So like I said, I'm going to keep it as crisp and as clean as possible. A minimum of 2 colours, which one will be grey, surprise surprise, and the other is going to be blue, but I need to do some masking first. Once I'd finished messing about with my non-sticky masking tape, I hit it with blue. Just went all around the grey bits with, well, you can see what I'm doing. So yeah, so I did about 2 coats of this. Let it dry, then peeled off the, oh no. Okay, so there's a slight problem. I've took a chunk of paint, of the grey paint, off the back of the spaceship, but I'm not going to let that bother me. Let me just carefully tear this apart, and So the masking tape that wasn't that sticky was very sticky in the end. Damn you. You'll also notice that the cockpit fell off, because I pulled that off as well. But with clever editing, I glued it back and no one noticed, but I'll notice that little chunk of grey that's been pulled off the back. For now, I'll just grab some grey paint and just touch that up. And it's as if it never happened. So while I've got the grey out, I'm going to hit some more little edges. I'll highlight certain bits in grey just to tone down the amount of blue that's on the spaceship. And I'll also do a little square for grey just right there, and the opposite side as well. Add some janky transfers, and that's it, job done. It took me about 4.5, nearly 5 hours to build this. The glamour shots are next. Thank you for stopping by. If you watched the entire video, God bless you. You've got more stamina than I have. And until next time, let's keep scratching that build, everybody. Thanks very much for watching.